What's good, y'all boys? Back again with another video. This one might be a little bit controversial, a little bit spicy for certain individuals. I don't think they really be watching my channel anyway, so it doesn't matter. But this is Interviews with Matt Walsh's Protestors by Lauren Chen. I guess last week or the week before, Matt Walsh did a protest at a hospital that does gender reassignment surgery, aka child abuse, on children. Even though they claimed that they don't, but apparently they did.
Hey, Lauren here. Let's talk about the rally to end child mutilation. A lot of you have probably already seen Matt Walsh's documentary, What is a Woman? In that documentary, Matt Walsh interviews some not only activists, but actual pediatricians who all believe that, yes, children can and should transition if they feel like they are in the wrong body. That was pretty eye-opening, and
I'm sure y'all have heard this argument so many times. But it does not make sense to do a procedure, a life-altering procedure on a child just because the child says that they feel like it. There's so much shit that's wrong with that, bro. It don't make no fucking sense. And it doesn't make sense that motherfuckers try to push that shit either. But here we are. We're living in a clown world, a Disneyland, Mickey Mouse, cuckoo caca society, and I don't like it.
Concerning, especially since at least one of the therapists who was all on board the gender affirmation craze, she was actually based in Tennessee. So this stuff isn't just happening in California like a lot of us would like to believe. And to that point, actually, just several weeks ago, by this point, I would say Matt Walsh and his team did uncover that Vanderbilt University's hospital, which is in Nashville, Tennessee, they were actually performing surgeries on minors who were claiming to be trans, things like double mastectomies and hormones. And once that was exposed, thank goodness there was a lot of negative attention on that hospital to the point where they actually stopped performing these procedures under pressure from the public, but also politicians. And so following those revelations, some politicians in Tennessee, and I can't believe I'm about to praise politicians on this channel, but some of them are actually now working to legally ban medical transition procedures for minors, which obviously, if you've been following my coverage of this whole issue, you will know I think is a very good thing. And so building on that—
I don't know this girl, Laura, right? Lauren. I've never seen her channel before, but I'm intrigued.
Momentum, trying to show public support for this issue, Matt Walsh also just today, I just got back from it, hosted the rally to end child mutilation, really not pulling any punches with that name. So however, what I did find kind of weird was that there were several people at this event who were actually trying to scream and yell over the speakers, which obviously didn't work because there was a sound system. But it's like, you don't want them to be heard, you clearly want people to hear you, but you're not willing to actually talk to someone who wants to hear your ideas and wants to hear what you have to say. And not only that, but something else.
Surprise, surprise, with a lot of people on that ideological side, they're very hypocritical, bro. They say things, but then they say things, but then their actions be completely opposite. It's like, yo, bro. But that's why I appreciate talking about these things and the people who do these videos, because you have to see for yourself. A lot of people in the world where a lot of people don't go outside. A lot of people don't even see the things that they watch people talk about on YouTube, okay? So you got to make it a point to showcase what really be going on.
That was strange was this one woman, she was trying to grill me on what my political beliefs were, and when she found out I was conservative, she changed her mind in wanting to talk to me.
How conservative? I've been on, well, not Matt Walsh's show, but I've been on Daily Wire shows before. No? Okay.
Once more, I'm not owed an interview by anybody online or in person, but it's just kind of strange. What's the point of going to a counter protest if when someone who does have a different belief than you wants to hear you out, you say no? With that being said, though, I did get some people to talk to me. We're going to be showing those.
It's because a lot of people can't really argue what they believe in without prep. Because sometimes we kind of operate on a lot of this sounds correct, it sounds right. Me, sometimes I succumb to that too. But mostly to the effect of if I don't have a specific statistic in my head or a specific source citation in my head. That's really what it is. You know what I'm saying? Other people just be scared to argue, but I'll still argue though. Other people be scared to argue what they believe just in general because it with certain shit like these people, there's no logical sense in it. So it's easy to pick apart, and they know that, so they try not to argue. a debate at least.
Clips, and so now I present to you the counter protest of the rally to end child mutilation.
Why are you here today? What message are you trying to convey?
I think a lot of people on the other side have really absolute beliefs that you can only be this or that, and I think that life is a spectrum and we need to honor the individual's experience and how they go through that by not making these laws that are very this or that.
So I guess, is there, in California, we've seen they have like a sanctuary law. In your ideal world, what would you want to see for Tennessee? Like, is there a counter proposal you would want?
I mean, in an ideal world, parents would be understanding of their children and supportive of the decisions that they are making and how they want to express themselves. But yeah, a sanctuary law would be great, especially when it gets to a point where the child is feeling really extreme.
So Matt Walsh is the person who kind of organized this. Are you familiar with his work?
Not really. I don't really pay attention to that stuff, but I did read up on him a little bit in preparation to come here.
Okay, and is there anything else you wanted to say?
Just that I think he picks points that are anomalies, and he's using individual negative experiences to uphold this idea that everyone else will have a negative experience, and that's just not the reality of the world.
So,
I mean, isn't like 51% of them or 47% of transgender individuals that commit suicide or attempt? It's probably not the exact number, but it's around that, 'cause I don't remember off the top of my head, like I just said. So I mean, sounds pretty negative. Off rip. And you can't blame people that don't agree with transgenderism as people committing suicide, because there's plenty of people that support them, right? There's people that's out here arguing for mutilating children. So obviously it seems like you got plenty of support. So you can't blame it on people that don't agree with you for committing suicide. Something's wrong, bro.
This speaker, I think she's coming from the place of having been through a transition. She has a negative experience. Obviously, no experience is universal. Do you think there could be something to remedy those negative experiences without a total ban? Like, do you think we could be doing more either way to?
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be on them to say where they think the system failed them. I don't have experience with that personally, so I can't really say. But I think just listening and taking time with people to see their point of view could probably help.
Okay, thank you. So what brings you out
See,
here
look,
today?
those are okay. She's not like a person that's trying to get people mad. She's asking genuine questions. That's good. That's good. I like that energy.
So I'm here out to protect the bodily integrity of all children, and so Matt Walsh is a hypocrite because he's saying that he wants to end child mutilation, but yet he has publicly come out on social media supporting infant genital cutting.
So I guess you're referring to male circumcision, is that right?
Yes.
So what would you say to people who claim that it's different because, it's a religion?
Circumcision is not equal chopping off a little girl's breasts or cutting off a little boy's bibit. Okay, it's not the same, bro.
Religious practice.
Religion ends where a non-consenting minor's body begins.
I guess when it comes to policies, would you support a ban on trans affirmation gender care if it also included no circumcision?
No, I don't believe in any type of, I'm a voluntarist. I don't believe in government or laws of any kind. The only law that we need is interact voluntarily and self-defend yourself. Like, defend yourself and your family and your property. We don't need all these crazy laws. Leave people and their choices on their own bodies alone.
See, people like that, stay far, far away from them. You hear what she said? I don't believe in laws. This is why people like them, like that specifically, do not run this world, bro. Because that's just not, you're not living in reality. You sound crazy. You sound crazier than Kanye West, okay? Laws exist for a reason, so crazy motherfuckers know they can't do certain shit or there will be extreme repercussions. Crazy, bro. This world is grits.
Okay, so you're more here to just critique the practice, but you don't want it banned by the government, if I understand that.
Practice.
Male circumcision, for example.
The government, whether they do it or not, it's still wrong. Like, whether they ban it or not, it's still wrong. I'm here more to educate the masses so that they can make the educated, informed choice whether the government does the right thing or not.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
So what brings you out today?
I'm a trans woman, and I believe that what they're...
That is a nigga. Oh my God, bruh. That is a fat white man. Are you serious, dude?
saying up there is a crock of shit.
So I guess, are you referring specifically to the minor issue?
I believe that trans kids, trans people in general should be able to choose how they live their life. And when I say trans kids, I believe parents should encourage kids to identify how they believe. But when they're saying about the child mutilation and surgeries and everything, I'm talking specifically about teenagers. And I believe that they should be able to choose how they live their life.
So are you talking to teenagers specifically with...
That because with hormones and surgeries, there are processes that you actually have to go through before you can get on them.
I'm not sure if you saw, but earlier there was a woman who identifies as a detransitioner. Do you have any comments about what she was up there saying?
There are people who do detransition, and they do it for a number of reasons. Some do it for religion, some do it because they don't feel like it's right for them. Others do it for medical reasons. There are numbers of reasons, and each one is valid. And her choice is her prerogative. And no one should deny her that fact. So if her living a trans lifestyle is not for her, then that's her prerogative. But I don't think she should be forcing that ideology on everybody else.
Okay, thanks. And this, I guess, rally was organized by Matt Walsh. Are you familiar with him?
No, I'm not, but my mother is, but I've not heard real good things about him.
So what brings you here today?
We have a lot of misinformation going on about trans healthcare in general, and there are some people who feel very entitled to trans bodies who are now attacking children seeking medical care. So we're here to, personally, I'm here to point out their lies and be a voice for the trans community, which is not being represented here today.
Okay, and are there any specific points that you want to get out there? Because you mentioned misinformation. What do you want to debunk while you're here?
I would say that people can easily find out how medical transitioning works, and that it's really easy to find reliable sources. Just anybody who thinks that child mutilation is going on has been fed some incorrect information, and they should probably check the people that they heard it from.
It's literally child mutilation. You're cutting off their genitals because something in their head tells them that they're something that they're not, bro. This is what it is, bro. It's what it is. And it's so, every time I see people say things like this, it's so disheartening that they're trying to sell this fallacy, okay? Bro.
Okay, I'm not sure if you saw her, but there was one person who identified as a detransitioner who is speaking. What do you think of stories like hers?
I think that everyone is entitled to their own journey with their gender identity. Detransitioning, successful detransitioning, proves that these surgeries, quote unquote, and these medical treatments are in fact reversible.
Thank Thank you.
And so here I want to say a big thank you to everyone who took the time to speak to me, because obviously you didn't have to, and my intention in showing these interviews isn't to shame anyone or make them stupid. I'm not as bad faith as that. However, I will point out that a lot of the people I spoke to, they didn't really get to the heart of the issue that people like Matt Walsh were trying to address when it comes to this rally, which is that children do not have the ability to consent to something as life-changing as a surgery. And you guys saw, even when I mentioned specifically the detransitioner who spoke at the rally, responses were usually, well, she can detransition if she wants to, that's her choice. But it's like, all right, but it's like, okay, it's nice to see a somewhat, at least in principle, libertarian approach here, but that doesn't really address the fact that more and more children, as the trans ideology spreads, will be going through this same process and will be hurt in the same way. And actually what was cool was that at this rally, I did manage to meet someone who was a detransitioner herself, and this is what she had to say.
All right, so we just spoke super
That's
brief.
the thing too, like, even if you choose the detransition, right? The effects that it does to your body it's a lot, bro. There was a video on TikTok of this girl who transitioned and she was regretting it. Now she was balding, bro. She was balding at 16 years old and balding. That's crazy. I was saying this in another video. This early age, that adolescent age, is when your body is at its strongest because it's developing, it's growing at the highest rate that it's ever gonna grow. And to inject yourself with these hormone blockers, puberty blockers, these different hormones that your body's not supposed to have in excess, the surgery going under the knife, you're messing up your development. You're messing up the foundation of your health. Okay? I swear to God, bro.
Briefly, and you mentioned you're a detransitioner, so I would love to hear why you're here today.
Well, I've been detransitioning for 2 years now. Excuse me, voice still cracks if you can't tell. But I've just taken a real hard look at my own life and realized not only how stressful this whole transition's been on me and learning to understand why I did it in the first place, because for me it was just a matter of not wanting to be me. I was a young person going through a lot. But I'm also seeing just like so many young people who were same age as me when I was kind of getting into the transition. And, you know, it's scary for me because I didn't go through the surgeries, but I can't imagine going that far. I did the hormones and I still struggle with voice issues and facial hair. But to chop off your body parts like that, it's scary. And I'm really glad that I got very close to doing that, the top surgery, and I didn't.
I mean, if it's not too personal, feel free to not answer. What age did you start to transition?
I was 17 when I was introduced to it, and I spent a couple years kind of like, I'm agender, I'm bigender, stuff like that. I'm 31 now, so I identified as male for 10 years.
Damn.
So
I did manage
10 years, nigga. 10 years, no tears.
to speak to some of the counter protesters that were here, and when asked about, I guess, the policies that are being discussed, the bans on, I guess, gender affirmation care, the overwhelming thing they would say is like, well, it should be up to each trans kid to choose and things like that. Do you think that's fair? This is a decision that should just be up to the families.
no child should ever make that decision. No parent should make that decision for the child. No parent should make that for themselves. I don't believe that transition in general is good for anyone.
Okay, thanks. And is there anything else you wanted to mention?
Very good to meet you.
Yeah, you too. Thank you.
Progressives love to talk about the validity of personal experience, but as far as I can tell, when it comes to detransitioners, they don't really have solid rebuttals. Seriously, try telling that woman that, oh, don't worry about it, there are safeguards in place. Oh, don't worry about it, detransitioning is super rare. Clearly, we need more safeguards, and detransitioning isn't as rare as it should be. Oh, something else that was also cool was that I did see Bryson Gray there, and like me, it seemed like he was having trouble getting counter-protesters to talk to him.
Bryson, how are you?
Who's that?
I'm amazing. This is amazing. We need more events in the area.
Have you been talking to some of the counter protesters? Have you gotten any reception? We've been trying, but I mean, they seem a little shy.
Yeah, I think I'm a little too blunt for them. I've attempted, but I think I'm a little too blunt, so it doesn't. Even though
Boy, I thought you said a little too black.
talk so like calm and nice to them, it doesn't really matter.
Okay, so what do you think of the rally, the message?
I love it. Now, obviously, I'm not a Toast Together fan, so know that. But Matt Walsh is based. I don't know who else spoke, but we need more events like this.
Overall, this was a good event. I am definitely glad that I went, and I'm glad that everyone remained safe from what I could see. However, I am honestly disappointed with how few counter-protesters were willing to talk to me, because I know leftists usually don't like to engage, which they don't have to, that's fine, but it's like if you're taking the time to go to a counter-protest, you would think that some sort of discourse might be called for. In any case, that's pretty much all I have to say. And as always, if you guys enjoyed this video, please be sure to like.
Well, that was the video, y'all boys, by Lauren Chen. Let me know what y'all thought below. Let me know if y'all want to talk, if y'all want to see me talk about this topic more often. I probably will, regardless if you want me to or not, or if they want me to or not. Because I think this is one of the big issues that's definitely going to infect and affect our society for the long run. There's going to be some ramifications that people don't even really want to think about. But we could definitely dive into that soon. We're still building. But hey, thank y'all for tuning in. I appreciate y'all. Till the next one.